Hello and welcome back to Mrs. O'Connor's virtual classroom. So this week we are finally finishing The Glass Castle. And it's interesting. We've spent a lot of time with this novel. It's interesting to come to a conclusion here. We see out of the four walls kids raised in under their extreme conditions, we see very different results among all four children. So this leads us to consider the power of experience. The first question is, how reliable is memory? I don't know if you have siblings, but I know that my brothers and I, when we discuss incidents from our past, we kind of have different understandings. We remember different things due to the magnitude in which those events affected us and shaped us. And so we are just listening to Jeanette's recount of her childhood. I'm sure if Brian or Lori or Maureen had written a book, it would look a lot different just based on what they remembered. So I want you to kind of reflect on your earliest memory. What is the first thing you remember, and why do you think that stuck? Why do you think certain events stick and others don't? Um, and then next, I want us to kind of consider the bad things in our life. Is it better to remember the bad things, or is it easier to just forget so that we move on? The interesting phenomenon to consider here would be the power of negative effects on our life and how they teach us and how we grow. At one point in your reading this week, we see Lori, Jeanette and her husband discuss the scars on Jeanette's body. And her husband says, well, those scars represent that whatever tried to hurt you, you were stronger. And I think that bad and negative memories kind of have that same impact on us. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? And so remembering these things and remembering that you're stronger isn't necessarily always a bad thing, but it's definitely not always an easy thing. And then lastly, you're going to consider our circumstances. So in an interview that Jeanette Walls takes part in after she wrote this book, she explains that in life we're all kind of handed a deck of cards. Some people are born to two parents with great jobs and kind hearts and hard work. Some people are born to one parent. Some people are born in America. Some people are born in third world countries with civil wars. It's no one asked to be born at all or born to the parents they're born to. But what do we do with the cards that we're dealt? We obviously can't change the circumstances we're born into. So, what do you do with the hand that you're given? We see all four walls children react differently to their circumstances. And I know as a high school teacher, I see students dealt crappy hands who do really wonderful, amazing things with them. I see students who are dealt wonderful hands who can't seem to live up to the expectations. And I want you to stop for a moment and think about the cards that you've been given. Think about the life that you were born into, the experiences that you have under your belt, and think about what you've done with the hand you've been dealt. I hope you've enjoyed this book. It's definitely a favorite of mine, and I have so enjoyed getting to go through this experience of reading this novel with you. All right, so in one interview after writing the book, Jeanette Walls states, "Luck is the hand you're dealt, and we're all dealt different hands. And life is the way you play it, because you can get a crappy hand and play the heck out of it, or you can get a wonderful hand and just misplay it terrible. So many people have wonderful hands that they just don't do anything with." So I want you to reflect on your experiences, on your life. You're graduating high school this year. Your childhood is a few days from being behind you, in a sense. So what did you do with the deck of cards that you were dealt? We're not asked to be born at all, And we're definitely not asked, we don't get to pick who we are born to. Um, we Some children are born in third world countries in the middle of genocide. Some people are born in America in the comfort of a mansion with everything they could have ever wanted, and more. But the deck of cards you're dealt is almost irrelevant compared to what you do with it. So I want you to consider both the deck of cards you've been dealt and what you've done with it in your 18 years of living.